Beware, beware of the prophet of doom and gloom. Probably one of the most complex and interesting of the emotional archetypes is that of the prophet of doom and gloom. Because unlike their counterparts of the emotional martyr and the fire starter, their emotion is almost internalized. So where you're more likely to see the emotional fire starter erupt and discharge the emotion, the prophet of doom and gloom has this constant humming sound in the background. It's under the surface, under layers and layers and layers where it's been almost calloused over with. So it makes it difficult then for them to access emotion outside of the low frequency side of emotions: despair, despondence, lack, disbelief, discouragement, almost like the low end of the spectrum of energy. Prophets of doom and gloom are masters at recognizing patterns, and this can be very, very advantageous in life in general. However, on the flip side of this superpower comes a very difficult way of creating these self-fulfilling prophecies, because if you're always looking as the observer for certain types of patterns, then you are going to seek what you shall find. They've already realized that they've noticed the problem but never really quite found the solution, so it becomes part of that quasi-worldview that what they've experienced and the pattern that they've picked up is just going to play out and out and out and out without much of say-so with themselves, or without actual much accountability or responsibility for themselves. It just happens. So what you see with these emotional prophets of doom and gloom is that there's oftentimes these beliefs that are sometimes crowded in superstition. Phrases like bad things come in threes, it is what it is. And even though they might not vocalize them to those around them, these are deeply rooted beliefs in superstition that guide a lot of their perception and the way they engage with the world. Then oftentimes you see a lot of rigidity, a lot of tension, and a lot of low energy to want to confront things within inside of their life, because they've recognized the pattern and it corresponds with a belief or with a statement or a superstition, and they marry together and make it almost interlocked in a way that it's very hard to crack that open.
I told you so, I told you so, I told you so.
The possibility of something new coming into life must be left open. What we focus on almost comes into being, and the prophet of doom and gloom must take some accountability to the fact that these beliefs and these superstitions may be procuring these things that they don't wish to experience. I have a confession. This is an important one for me, because if I was being honest with myself, with the way that I process emotion in an archetypical way, I've had my time of being the emotional fire starter, but in later years, the emotional prophet of doom and gloom became a staple of my archetypical behaviour when it comes to emotion. So I know all too well about the patterns and this low sounding vibration, where it makes it very, very difficult to be able to break out of the cycle, because you're always looking for patterns to observe and to draw upon. And the problem is that you're just not anticipating that good things can come, that you can be surprised, not in a negative way. And I guess in a way, the emotional prophet of doom and gloom is trying to beat everything to the punch, to observe and to spot and to recognize opportunities and threats before they even come. So it's kind of like a low vibration anxiety. It's not quite the rising of anxiety in the form of an attack, but a low frequency of a hum that makes them always trying to be one step of the game when trying to recognize patterns. And as I stated, this is a great, great tool and skill to have, but when it's not managed and it's not controlled, it can almost be having a magic casting spell that only works on yourself. So all those prophets of doom out there, don't be scared of expecting something that's worthwhile. Leave your mind and heart open to the idea that things could be different. Be accountable for the things that you can control. And in this case, really test and ascertain those beliefs you think design the world that you experience.